In part 4, the time went back to normal. The police officer Vega comes to visit Fowler, and during the conversation, Vega mentioned that he was no longer suspect of Fowler because of one action of Fowler when Fowler went back to Pyle's apartment, he took one of Pyle's book by York Harding from the shelf. Fowler responds that York Harding is the killer who murdered Pyle at a long range. Vega got really confused, so Fowler explained that Pyle came to Vietnam all based on York Harding's idea about the third force, and Vega implies that Fowler definitely involved more than he was admit. Then the police officer found Pyle's dog had submitted down the pouch that he had likely gotten from the wet cement outside Fowler's apartment. After Vega left, Fowler talked to himself that he did see Pyle the night Pyle dead. So time back to when Pyle's still alive, and it's like the day Pyle dead actually. Fowler went to see Mr. Joe and Mr. Hen. Mr. Hen had heard about the news of the attack, the explosion, and Fowler implied it may have connection with Pyle, and Mr. Hen agreed. Knowing the police cannot gonna interested about General Tay, and they cannot touch Pyle, so Fowler asked how can they help Pyle stop. So Mr. Hin suggests that Fowler could invite Pyle to dinner around 6 in the afternoon at the restaurant, and their people could stop Pyle on the way and maybe talk with him to let him stop all those actions. But Fowler was still undecided because he was not sure how they gonna treat Pyle. Um Fowler went back to his apartment, and Domingos, who was Fowler's assistant, came to visit and discuss about all the things around. And then after Domingos left, Pyle showed up next and telling Fowler that he met with General Tay, and Fowler trying to suggest Pyle to leave General Tay and forget all those third forces. However, Pyle Sim didn't want to take the advice, and Pyle was very pleasant because Fowler asked him out for dinner. And that time, Fowler had a moment to ask Pyle about cancel the dinner, but Pyle reject. And then Pyle mentioned those bombing of civilians were casualties of wars who died in the right cause for democracy. At that point, that makes Fowler really angry, and he just wanted Pyle to go away and die immediately. And after Pyle left, Fowler went to the restaurant and made Granger, who was in the first part, and an American reporter. Granger came over to Fowler's table to chat. Granger was upset because he knew that his son back in U.S. has polio, and work prevents him from going back home. Fowler shoot his story about that, and Fowler just went back to his apartment, and this story went back to the beginning, and Fowler was waiting for Pyle, but Pyle didn't show up or never show up. And the last chapter is when Fong returned, time is back to the normal. Fong returned from seeing a movie, and Fong tells Fowler about the movie she saw. And then Fowler got a mail from England. It's from his wife Helen. Helen was agreeing to divorce, and Fong was so excited because she could be the next Mrs. Fowler. After Fong left to tell the news to her sister, Fowler started thinking like the first day he met Pyle, how everything has gone in his way since he got involved, and how he wishes like there was someone like Pyle and he can say sorry to.